Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Today, Jenna's back with Pamela and I, and we're talking about the Challenge Ride or Dies, episode 19, the end of the line? Ride, the end of the ride.
Okay, I was like,
the end of the ride.
Had to
And
get
yeah,
in
it
a
sure
while.
is. And you know what, ladies? It was a long ride. My God. Like at the end of the show, they showed every person that got eliminated. And I was like, who's that? Oh, yeah, that's Turbo's partner. Who the hell was that one? Oh, yeah, that's that small guy that liked to
him and
dance on Big
Colleen.
Brother. I was like, who are these people? Like, oh my God, has this been on for 19 weeks?
19 weeks of our lives.
That's
How
over
long
4
is that in
months.
months? 4 months. Wow, we've been with them. I feel like we're all of their ride or dies at this point.
I mean, it's not even done. We have like an epic reunion supposedly next week. That's like a bunch of these things are being revealed and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah.
And
But
the
I will
reunion
say
is-
this final is something that we've never seen before. They have done like eliminations thing, but this is like straight up the eliminations going to decide the winner. I don't think we've ever in the 38 years, this is the first time they've ever done it where you win this elimination. Guess what? You win $1 million. Like that's an elimination that's insanity to think about what they had to go through tonight to do that. So let's get overall thoughts on just this final episode. Cause I don't know if we're going to I have some big, like not happy moments about this final episode.
Really?
One in particular. Yeah. One in particular for sure.
So, as I was watching, I was curious to hear your guys' thoughts on how you felt about what happened on the episode. Because as I was watching it, I loved it. Honestly, I found it so entertaining, so fresh, new, and exciting. I was absolutely hooked the entire time. Never wanted to touch my phone. I loved the stadium, the maze. I thought was phenomenal. So amazingly and intricately done by the producers. This maze, it was so tall, it was so narrow. I thought it was awesome. And I was just really excited by the entire time. I loved it.
Agreed. So dramatic that it
So
was
dramatic.
like, whoa, can you imagine being there? It felt so epic and crazy. They haven't done anything like it. Dan, you're worried about crying at your wedding, and I'm worried about crying right now, talking about like this win. And I really think Tori and Jordan are like in a few years we'll be together. Like,
I
think
can't
they'll
wait.
go
That now,
on.
see that part I loved, and I can't wait to get into that
Okay,
later
we
on.
can talk about that too. I just thought this was great, Jenna. Back to the phone thing, and I am like emotional. I think it's been such a long time coming. I mean, spoiler alert, but like I was so happy and such a long time coming, and genuinely the meaning embodied of what the whole season was, which you don't usually get, and just I thought it was really great. It made me emotional. And my phone, like my friends were on our bachelor chat and they were going off and I was like, oh, silence, go away. And like flipped it upside down. Like didn't even want to see, like that's how not wanted the phone I was. I silenced it, but then I was like, I could still see chirping.
So I can't wait
tense. Like I was tense. Like I had
really,
to
I can't wait to break this. I hope you ladies can change my mind because I will tell you my complaint again about each little moment that happened because the first two, Pamela, as you know, the first two parts of this, like the last two episodes, I enjoyed very much. I had some issues with this one, and the overall result I loved. I thought Tevin, I thought they were a great combo. They were the most ride or die this season, and you know what? If that is the case, then they definitely deserve to win this goddamn thing. So, but let's start from the beginning. Okay. It's the
helicopter. Tonight felt like a long journey. Like there were so many.
It was it was a lot.
I don't remember the beginning, and it was just
you bringing up the helicopter feels like a year ago. I'm like, oh yeah,
the helicopter's how it started off. Yeah. Okay.
Literally.
So please tell me why I was supposed to enjoy that. Like I didn't. I was like, okay, it wasn't fun. That wasn't fun to watch for me personally. But tell me why I should have liked it. I'd love to know.
Okay. So you should have liked it because it starts off with, remember, we were a little irritated that like at the end of last week that Bananas and Nani were in the lead because they won the day, not because it was a full day time, but because they won the last thing of the day. It was another one of those kinds of things. Like you ate the fastest, you're the winners of the day. So they got,
they won the last part of that day. So that's what we're saying. Yeah.
So it's like, well, did the first part not matter? It was another. Whatever.
So you did like that they got 5 extra balls. I thought that was fine.
No, I'm saying I didn't like that.
That bothered you.
I didn't like that. And
interesting.
So the reason why I was happy was because they made Tori and Devin heretofore will be referred to as Tevin for the rest of this episode, go first, and they had 5 less balls. And when we saw that they had 10 hits, I was like, that seems good, but who knows how the other people are going to do. And then you should like it because Bananas and Nani didn't win.
Okay, but that's okay. But Pamela, I did like it for those things. I just mean the overall idea of watching them in a helicopter throwing balls at a target didn't do it for me emotionally. Nothing. Like, but I mean, I like the outcome. The outcomes, I'm going to tell you all. Like, I like
that part of that part was stupid. Whatever.
Okay, so you agree the helicopter thing was not that interesting. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Well, I think the big thing is that now when we're looking at the episode in hindsight, it seems so insignificant. Like that just doesn't seem like it had anything to do with the final or the episode overall. But that's kind of the truth to the whole final in a way. Like our biggest complaint always is how are they charting these finals if it's not timed and if it's not start line, finish line, and you just have all these checkpoints and all these sleep points along the way. It's kind of like, how are we supposed to feel like this person truly won? But I do feel like at the end, with it being a true 1v1 team versus team elimination, there was a true outcome and a true winner. Yes. So that makes it that much more fulfilling and satisfying to watch. But that being said, all of those little things about the final that we don't like because it doesn't seem like they fit or make sense to define a true worthy winner. I still really enjoyed all of these episodes of the final because it was just really entertaining and fun to watch them all compete in all of these games. And it kept it going and it was entertaining. So I think that's obviously the point of why they do things the way that they do. They don't do it to make it fair. They do it to make it entertaining because
and as close as possible so that anybody could win. Now I will admit the 2 eliminations we saw tonight, from that point on, I'm invested much. But so we're done. The helicopter thing happens. It's 10, 6, and 5. Okay, so now Tori and Devin I do like this part. They get a 5-minute head start. And then Jordan and Nisa get to go second. They get 5 minutes after that. And then Nani, and they have to wait 10 whole minutes before they get to go. But now this whole corn maze thing, you ladies really like this part. This part to me was...
I love it.
But I didn't know, but we couldn't really see who was winning, who was not winning. When Jordan and Tori got to TJ first, after like it gets dark and all that stuff, after I didn't know they were going to get there first. I had no idea who was even winning. So
we have to go back to even before TJ gets on the microphone.
I know. I get it. They get to
scolding everybody like this voice of God. But that's why I loved it so much, Dan, because it was so chaotic. It had us all confused. And that was the point. We hadn't seen anything like this in a final ever. So all of us with the players are starting to feel like that authenticity of a reality TV show that we said we missed. It's like everything's being thrown at them. We're just as confused as they are. We feel like we're running around the maze with them thinking, what the hell is happening? It's like Blair Witch Project. It just feels like they're running around this maze. I thought it was hysterical how dramatic it was. And then finally, when they make it to their base camps and they hear TJ and the lights come on and Nani is clutching her chest. Like it just felt like so new than anything we've seen in the final.
I just feel like Jen, I agree that the reality of the reality show, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like you didn't know, it's so rare in life anymore that you get like true novelty. Like, I don't know what's happening or what's going on, and it's always welcome, I think. And it was fun and weird and chaotic and felt weird. Like I felt trippy too for them. It could have been, it was very dramatic. It could have been, I definitely was still and am still confused. So they got to the place with the light up tents, and was that
they get to the campsites?
That's their campsite. But to me, I started theorizing what that could mean. And I wonder if they intended that to be a red herring or not. But here's what I thought was going to happen as we go into a commercial break, because it's very rare that I watch these things like live anymore. Right. So I'm actually having to sit there through the commercial break thinking about, oh shit, what's about to happen? I'm actually on the edge of my seat with the cliffhanger. So you see Tori and Devin choose a way to go, and Bananas and Nani are shortly behind them, and they're choosing the same path. So they end up at the same base camp. Anissa and Jordan are different. They go to a different base camp. So I'm thinking, oh shit, does that mean Bananas and Nani are competing solely against Tori and Devin, and that does that mean that Jordan and Nisa are free in their own world and they eluded whatever this elimination is going to be because they took the path less traveled. So I think but that ended up obviously not happening.
No,
in reality, it was just so at
didn't
night
matter.
they both had separate base camps. That's all that was, though. You know what I mean?
I thought there should have been more of a payoff to the maze. I thought there was going to be a wrong way and you had to reset or start over.
Well, see, that's what this is why it bothered me so much, ladies, is I think there were wrong ways where they would reach dead ends with too much corn in front of them. They had to turn around, but I couldn't really tell what was happening. So I was just annoyed. I was like, I don't know who they could make this. I just want a clear cut. Like, that's why I love these two eliminations. There's a clear cut winner. There was no warping my mind to believe something that wasn't really happening. I just want to know that the person that won is not going to do another Casey thing where all she had to do was run up a goddamn mountain and win. Like, so that's why the maze thing just bothered me so much. I didn't know really what was happening that whole time.
I really liked it from the moment that the lights went on.
Well, that was cool. So that was a great reveal. To reveal that was amazing. But the whole idea of what they had to do after that was like, okay, they're just.
I liked after that. And I liked the maze.
I'm so happy you ladies loved it.
But I did enjoy it because it was neat.
And again, I felt like I'm laughing my ass off because TJ is on a microphone trolling them as they're running around aimlessly. He's like, ha, wrong way, Anissa. That's not where you're supposed to go, Nani. Like, how annoying when you're in a final competing for $1 million and you had this guy on a stage watching with the bird's eye view, telling you what you're doing wrong. You have Banana screaming at Nani. Like, emotions and tensions were so high. And I kind of love that it was, Dan, you felt like you couldn't feel like it was clear cut, but I kind of like feeling like I was in the chaos and I was them and I was seeing it from their point of view and I was kind of in the maze with them. I thought it was hysterical that they just had them running on a hamster wheel.
Well, here's the thing also, though. They know they have to run towards that light that's in the middle of the field. So they knew what general direction they had to get to. So the fact that they kept running into like walls of corn or whatever, having to turn around in theory, but they still always knew that like where they had to get to.
Sure.
So it wasn't like they were completely blind in this maze, which in theory, if they really wanted to make it blind in a maze, they just don't ever turn those lights on and say, follow my voice. Like, good luck.
Well, the maze is still tall. Even though they can see the ultimate, you can't see 10 feet in front of you. You know what I mean? Like you can see.
I guess. Again, I don't know what they could see. I was utterly confused on what was happening. I get where they had to go somewhere, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll be much more positive in the second half, I promise now.
Yeah, I agree. Those first things were, I enjoyed watching them. I do agree that it was like cool, but to no real point, the maze thing, but I did like it. It's like,
well, I think this is one of the moments that I'll give a shout out to the producers because we often kind of rip into them about certain things or feel the production or the manipulation of it.
Right.
But shout out to them for pulling all of this off. What an amazing set. What an amazing stadium. The cornfield. Who was involved in that? Did they just outsource like landscapers to do this, or did they
the cornfield was probably
it must be a real cornfield.
I assume it's a real cornfield.
It must exist.
Was really cool. Yeah. Oh, you think it exists already?
Yeah, because I don't think that they want to tear down corn to make it, unless it was like part of like they were just harvesting
it's a real
corn.
Maze. We can look into this.
I think it was like
a real corn maze.
I mean, they make corn mazes around Halloween time for kids and stuff. So I'm thinking that it was a corn maze for kids that they just turned into possibly something for them, like
corn maze for adults at dark.
I'm so curious now that I'm gonna.
But also, what's funny is they were randomly gifted jackets and lighted helmets.
Well, see, so that's my point
in their mile-long trek. They just all of a sudden had jackets on.
So that's my point of it. Like, okay, so you get a 5-minute head start, but then everyone has to stop anyways to get there. Now, like, if you put your jacket on quicker, are you going to be able to pick up time there? None of that's shown to us. So again, I don't know. It's
a little disjointed in that way. Yeah, but
again, Tori and Devin get there first. I'm all about it. Then Bananas and Nani, then Anissa and Jordan. And I mean, what is really gifted here, Jenna and Pam, is that Tori and Jordan do not have to compete in the first elimination. I mean, that is huge. That just
Tori and Devin, yes. Yeah.
Tori and Devin. Now that's why, I mean, but you see Bananas yelling at Nani, and he's 100% right without even knowing what's about to happen in front of him. Like, this is for $1 million, and it sure damn was, especially if they lost. I mean, in that first elimination to Tori and Anissa, and these producers tried their damn darndest to give Anissa and Jordan any type of chance to win in this damn thing, for sure, with that balls in elimination, which we'll talk about next.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we should go all into the balls in, because that elimination was really good. So
it was really good, and it was also actually really bad. And I can't wait to see if you noticed why it was really bad.
well, sorry, that's what I mean by really good. What I mean by really good is the Nani debacle. Nani.
Well, so here's what I've noticed about Nani.
biggest...
It's actually really, she flakes at big moments, and it happened twice in the balls in one, and it happened during the concrete thing where she couldn't understand like certain things Bananas was telling her, though, these two walls need to be blank. She couldn't wrap her head around it. She kept saying things over, and they were like really dumb comments, and he's getting mad, and then she's like, well, she is in the wrong here. Bananas is just trying to tell her you can't do that. But like so here's why I'm not 100% mad at Nani for the balls in. Okay.
Oh.
They created, and this is why this elimination was dumb. This was the bad part of it. They created a new rule, and I don't know if you ladies even noticed the new rule.
Yeah, no, the new rule
sucked.
The new rule sucked. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jenna. And this is why it wasn't 100% great. It's called the end zone. And as long as the ball crosses the end zone, the game is over. You don't even have to put the ball in. They have to stop defending you. This was a garbage add-on. I think it's for safety reasons. Was it made because of already all the injuries that happened with Olivia, and they had to make it even safer for, maybe this wasn't even the plan all along, but whenever they made this idea was you just have to cross that rope line and they can't touch you anymore. This made balls in weak ass, not fun to watch.
But Dan, it on the surface, yes, it made it weak ass, but to spin zone that, it actually made the elimination even more funny and comical and entertaining, because Nani kept blacking out and she couldn't understand the fact of just, Nani, get it over the rope, Nani.
Totally.
Get it over the rope.
Right.
Nani,
it was more entertaining for us for them to have that bullshit rule, because she kept messing it up.
But why didn't the whistle blow? Like, how was she even allowed to mess it up? Like, once she was in there, why wasn't it like?
Thank you. They should have just
steam ahead, because she couldn't get a grip on herself, and she still was playing.
She needed to just stop, Pamela. She needed to just stop. But here's the thing, though. She's playing the old school way, where you play all the way to that hoop. So I'm sorry, I get it, Nani. The first time I can give you like a break on that one. The second time, Nani, I mean, you just did it twice in a row. Like, come on, girl.
And then when Bananas is yelling at her, she's like, "I know." It's like, but
you don't. But that's what I mean. She doesn't know, and she didn't know again with the cinder blocks later, which is like, I know. You don't know though. It was insanity. She didn't deserve to win.
You just can't help it. You're adrenaline, like you can't think straight, and you're doing something stupid. So I forgive her, but when Nani and Bananas started bickering, I thought, oh, right, this is why they're not going to win. Like, they don't have good teamwork, and it is really important. And that's why they didn't win that other thing against Tori. I think the one day that Tori and it was almost foreshadowing, the one day that Tori and Devin won the daily challenge was another sort of puzzly thing. And
it was a figure eight puzzle. The figure eight puzzle.
Great puzzle. And I remember being like, Nani and Bananas don't. It's like good when they can do certain things. And yes, they really are ride or dies that love each other, but they both get tense and blamey when they're
and Jenna, I hear what you're saying about, it became more entertaining that Nani kept messing up. But in my eyes, it was more unentertaining because they would have had to fight through so much more to try to get that ball in. And it would have just been a more interesting overall elimination, because Anissa she just fell into the end zone. First of all, she should have destroyed Nani, because all she had to do was fall into the end zone. She didn't have to take the ball all the way in. She had to just fall in. She couldn't even do that. I'm sorry, but Anissa is not built to do things like this. And she literally, I don't know if she was like, this is going to sound mean, whatever. I don't know if she's overacting for the cameras with her like pain or as like an excuse for like, I should be destroying this girl. But this girl who's built like a stick, Nani kicked her ass in there.
Like, how
and I'm sorry, but sorry, Pam, go ahead.
No, that's what I just don't even understand. Like, at that point, this is another thing I liked. I'm like, this sucks because, okay, I like Jordan and Anissa better as like whatever, like I like them, but not those two. were more deserving with Tori and Devin to be the final two.
100%.
So like, is Anissa, I mean, are they just going to crush this because Anissa's larger than, I mean, like, that's not really
I told you,
fair.
producers tried to give her any chance to win this thing, and she still couldn't friggin' do it. Like, they gave her she should have destroyed Nany.
I thought that too. And that's why, again, this ended up being so entertaining for me, is because I went into this thinking, okay, obviously Anissa's going to crush this, and Jordan being so athletic, are Anissa and Jordan going to win this? My husband and I both said, I think Anissa and Jordan are actually going to.
I think they should have, yeah.
But then as soon as you see Nany just simple change of direction, really quick and speedy, but a change of direction leaves Anissa in the dust. Amazing. Also, Nany played great defense, held Anissa back.
100%.
She did a great job. But then her brain blockage every time, to me, I empathize with her and I feel bad for her, because I do think it was the pressure and the heat of the moment. And no one is kicking her ass more than herself as she's watching this back, realizing how idiotic it was. But at the same time, as a viewer, it made it very comical and entertaining to watch, because she did it twice in a row.
I wish that her and Bananas had a different relationship, like a Tori and Devin, because I really do think there was moments where Bananas could have got into her ear and said, hey, look, all you have to do is cross this line. If you run around the circle to the other side, literally as fast as you can, this chick is not going to keep up with you. And you just go, oh, I'm in, and just stand there. She could have ran around the ring, and Anissa,
like a perimeter,
just go all the way around to the other side. Anissa's not even going to be close to catching up to you by then. She's running in sand after all. And you on the offensive player always has the advantage, because the defensive player has to react to the offensive player's move. So they always have a half step on the offense. So she could have just ran halfway around. Hell, run halfway back around the other way. She's going to be all over. She has no ankle left. She's in sand. She's not even on a hard surface. And Nany could have won 3 times over. So that's when Nany kept messing up, I'm like, oh my God, they should have won this 5 times by now. Like, there's no need for it would not even have been close if it wasn't for the brain farts going on with Nany.
Also, shout out to Bananas, because he really put work in against Jordan, and he put Jordan to bed at one point.
Yeah.
Is that saying putting someone to bed?
He pulled the covers up nice. He tucked him in.
A little bedtime story, put him to bed. But Bananas, he laid dormant all season, laid low, but he was ready to go by the time that the final came. I mean, he's well rested, like we said, never saw an elimination, just kind of, skated by in his reputation this season. But he came to play, and it was really impressive against Jordan, and he put his ass at one point.
I agree. And I think at that point, because Jordan, we know, is typically a master of strategy, and the fact that Bananas out strategized him with like the shirt and the advantage, I think the shirt thing, that was a very interesting talking point. Was full out of it at that point.
Oh, I don't know. You know how they say like creativity is a muscle you have to exercise, sort of thing. Their ability to think in that way, to strategize in that way, like you're thinking to take your shirt off because you're anticipating somebody pulling it off. I don't think in the heat of the moment I would think.
Well, let's be honest here though. Could Bananas have just gotten hot and just taken his shirt off, and then later in a confessional, seriously, in a conspiracy, later a confessional said, yeah, I took that off as a strategic move, when he was just hot. Because remember, he was like one of the first dudes to take off his shirt during the bike thing because he was getting hot, and then everyone was. Whatever. I'm just saying.
Pull on Horatio thirst trap.
Right.
Yes.
But I don't know, Dan. Maybe, but I honestly.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there for fun.
Because I really do think if there's like, this is Bananas' like life's
right.
As silly as it sounds, it's a reality TV show, but this man really found what he was amazing at. He is good at this shit.
Right.
He is good at strategizing on the challenge. Like, he just really is great at it.
Ladies, I don't want to change what we're talking about, but you did. You got the DM that I sent you about the new one that's March 8th on Paramount Plus. What's it called? The Challenge World Games or some shit.
I did see who was on it.
I was gonna ask you if you saw who's on it, and I think it has a lot of good people that I think we should at least cover episode 1 and see if we like it on March 8th. Yeah,
sure.
Because I like some of the names are pretty good that we haven't seen in a while.
Tori looks gorgeous
Tori's front and center on the cover there.
Always that hair. Jenna, you got Tori too. Have you guys have that head of hair that just always
did you see what sorry, Jenna.
I think you're gonna say it, Dan. You're gonna say it.
Well, Devin talked to Devin talked about it on her podcast. How when Tori comes out of the tent on like day 2, her hair always looks perfect. She's like, how does she do it? What kind of products? She's like asking the audience, like, what is she using on her hair?
Right.
But that's not what you were going to say,
she's not
Jenna.
asking
So go ahead.
Tori. Well, Jenna, why don't you take that? And pros, if you're listening, you can sponsor us or something. What do you use for your hair health, Jenna?
Oh, that is so funny you say that, because I've been feeling every time I look in the mirror these days, I'm like, oof, it's rough. Like
Oh,
she's
no, it
really,
doesn't
she's
look rough.
dry. She's dry. She's dead. She's not looking good. But I did actually do my hair today, so that's probably why maybe it has some flow to it. Nexus conditioner I love though. It's expensive, but I like that.
LIC,
But
leave-in
everything else,
conditioner or the in-shower conditioner?
in shower.
Okay,
But anyway,
the wash out, not the LIC.
Ladies, I haven't used conditioner in my hair in 10 years. Are dudes supposed to use conditioner? I couldn't tell you the last time I used conditioner
Not if
in
you
my hair.
don't need it.
maybe that's why your hair is so perfect. You have that Johnny Bravo.
It just flips over like this. I just go.
You know what? You just have years and years of lake water that is built up in your hair that acts like gel and just gives you the nice.
It's instant, makes it a little instant, like it'll just stay and won't move in one place. Yeah, possibly.
Is this natural, Dan, the pushback, or do you put some products?
I have to put a little like a hairspray. I just do like I go real quick, just like a little, as they say in 10 How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Just a little frosting, and then
frost yourself.
Yeah, go
frost yourself.
Yay.
Just a little frosting. I just pull it back, and then I go to sleep at night, and then the gravity does the rest as I sleep, and then I wake up in the morning.
Down? You sleep like a bat?
No, I just sleep on my back for the first hour or two. Yeah, on my back, like a bat would be very interesting. Yeah. Then my hair would be real Johnny Bravo up here where you can't see it.
Yeah.
All right. So Aneesa, Jordan, bye. Okay.
I do feel bad for Aneesa. I don't think that she was fabricating. I think that she had that intentional spark of pain in her ankle.
I think she was embarrassed that Nani was beating her.
Jordan said, and I was like, did I miss something? And this is where I was like, I can't watch and that's where I thought this was very tense, this elimination. But when Jordan said her knee buckled.
It did look that way. Yeah.
I mean,
well, but I don't understand what happened, because at some point, TJ was like, next point wins, and then Nani won, and Aneesa was like, can I have the ball? And I thought she was like gonna just like have a moment, but then they played.
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't understand why they had to even do that.
Because it was still a turn. She wanted to play, so she fell, and it kind of indicated that she was hurt, but she got back up again.
It was like, what was it, 2-1? And if Aneesa had gone, that would have been tied 2-2. Then they went, I go into sudden death. It was something about a sudden death thing where Aneesa had one more chance to tie it up.
Yes.
And then a whopping 95-pound Nani took her out. Literally. Sorry, Aneesa.
Yeah.
It's time to go home.
I mean, it did look like her ankle and knee gave out. Again, we have to remember also that they've been they got to sleep, but they've been on their feet generally for 3 hours, for 3 days, sleeping properly, not eating properly, not hydrated properly, this, that, the other. Are they showering? I always think that when they were all throwing up on themselves, I'm like, did they get to shower? I hope to God. Who knows?
I want to say this though. I want to say this. They're because you're making some interesting points, but I want to kind of go against that and say this though. Are they dealing? They're getting a lot of break time, first of all, Jenna. They're getting a lot of break times. Okay. I do believe they're given food, but they're just not showing it to us. And third, my hair doesn't do that like yours.
Bam's hair is awesome.
My hair is just one.
Yeah. Congratulations, ladies. And third, this is the big one though. They're not dealing with the elements this season. They're not dealing with super cold or super hot. They're actually just chilling like fall-like weather. And I think that makes this final not as challenging. And this is my last point. So
next month, let's go out and do a 100-hour final. And then I want you to tell me that we're just chilling.
Okay. And they get 8 hours. But Jenna, they get 8 hours to sleep every night. That's included in the 100 hours. It's just
3 days in a row of competition is really what it is.
They camped for 3 days. They camped and played mini games for 3 days.
And that is enough to make me sore, tired, and hungry.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I'm just saying this was not the toughest final based on just the length of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Again, moving on from the elimination where Jordan and Aneesa go home, I feel like they were just almost biding their time. Neither of them I didn't feel like neither Jordan nor Aneesa had any belief that they had any shot of winning it.
Pamela, I don't believe that at all. All they had to do was beat
really?
them. All they had to do was
Not
beat
that
Banana.
elimination, the whole thing, like the whole time. I don't
No, because
think
Jordan kept saying it to her. He's like, see, look, Olivia and what's his Horacio are out. Like anything can happen. Run, we can catch up. And Jordan also knows the rules of these producers. They want to keep it tight. He's not dumb. He knows exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to have it be anybody's game.
I felt like at this point, by the end of the maze, by the end of whatever, this day seemed to defeat them.
Really? Because all they had to do was beat.
And also I liked it because a point in its favor is if they did win, which I thought they were going to, I would have been like, actually, that's bullshit for Bananas.
Oh, 100% it would have been BS.
I don't want to, once they won, I was like, okay, good. Everything is as it should be. But if they just like on that fluke elimination in the thing, even though they've been in third the whole time, were the ones to compete and Nani and Bananas just went home, I would have been like, fuck this. So,
right.
But I mean, really Jordan and Anissa would have had just as good of a chance in that final elimination against Tori and Devin as Bananas and Nani would have. Like Anissa, it's not like there was heavy running. Anissa's strong enough to lift those. I mean, her. The thing is, her ankle would have been bad, but Jordan would have said, "You're really good at puzzles. Figure out the puzzle. I'll move everything." Because Jordan's a workhorse. I think they would have stood a chance.
If Anissa
maybe a better chance.
Anissa, like she couldn't beat Nani in a thing where she should have. I'm finally have come around to. Well, maybe you shouldn't win a final then.
What is the one thing that Anissa? What is the one thing Anissa did well in this final though?
Remember pattern recognition.
She did good on a puzzle. So that's what that elimination, as much as we want to say it could have come down to the sand or the pulling out of the spears, it came down to solving that damn cinder block thing. But we're gonna get into it in 1 second. So this is my last.
It almost didn't have to, but that truly is what it came down to because one team couldn't do it at all.
And that's why, and that is my one complaint about the final elimination is like, I wanted it to be like close where it could have been anybody's game. It totally turned into like, let's just watch.
Because I thought it was at first, like Nani seemed confident. They ran into it. And when I looked at their puzzle, I was like, holy shit, Tori and Devin are so far behind.
And I'll give you this, Bananas was able to pull the spears better than Tori and Devin. So they had the lead there, but it came down to that communication thing, which we talk about all the time with Tori and Devin just have it and Bananas and Nani don't.
Well, communication, but also somebody said methodology, which is, I think, hitting the nail on the head. I don't think that Bananas and Nani really thought through how to lay out their cinder blocks in a way that was.
Yeah, and that was all Devin. That's what Anissa, I think Anissa said that. He's like, Devin's got this picture in his head and he knows how to lay out all these pieces and blah, blah, blah. And he does. And you know what? For everyone that's always said that Devin can't win a challenge, I've always been the guy saying he has this extra gift of just this smartness that other challengers don't have. He's got like that Jordan type of vibe where he can think outside the box. And that's what he proved it tonight.
Yeah.
And I think he's also really vocal about it and he has confidence in his intelligence, which is really important because you might be able to think something through, but if you don't have, the leadership behind it or the ability to kind of like articulate it to your partner, then it's not really, it's kind of a lost cause.
Exactly. And I do want to give kudos to everyone because even if they weren't, in the Siberian tundra or like, whatever, or
dying of dehydration.
Yeah. Even going to sleep and doing a couple bazillion hours a day of like that intense competition is hard. So even like who were like, oh, Anissa, she's out of shape. Oh, Devin, he's not athletic. Like that's a lot. I don't think I could do it. Like they still must have run about 10 miles a day, even if or walked or something.
Look, and yes, and there was
reversing.
You're right. And Bananas had said it like, I think on his podcast that the running back and forth on like, was it day one where they had to carry the tires? He said that tire thing, like they didn't show any of that. He's like, we were there for friggin' ever. And I totally agree. Right. There's so much that we're not seeing. But at the same time, if you notice, they go into their separate camps that night, the two winners and they say, okay, the next day you're going to be back here for your final elimination. So they know like all we have to do is we have one more elimination. It's over. They woke up that morning. You saw Bananas eating a banana at one point. They had that entire day to rest. Like I know they're outside in the element of maybe 60 degrees, but they didn't do anything all day. I'm sure they had breaks where they can go to the bathroom somewhere. Like it wasn't, I think that it was a very leisurely day is my point.
No,
So they
I
had
get it. And for $1 million, it's worth it. But if I like got a great night's sleep tonight and then woke up with no alarm and ate a nice breakfast, and then you were like, great, you're just gonna hike and run and do puzzles all day, I still would be like, eek.
my point is they got to rest all day for
Very
one more
tired.
elimination.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that
And
that
like
brutal.
doing fish guts, it's still, and then like keep
Yeah.
running and then like do it again 2 more times.
While we're on the subject of that, not only is it so hard to try to sleep in those elements, I feel like the stage fright and the pressure of the next day would make it so hard to sleep at night. Like, do you guys have those kind of nighttime
Anticipation.
jitters? Like, I have
Oh,
that.
I do. Yeah.
Even if it's like something as simple as like I have to wake up a half hour earlier tomorrow than I do any other day this week, I will not sleep that
You
night.
don't sleep the same. I have 100% that same thing. But these two, if we're talking about Bananas and Nani in particular, they've done this forever.
So
Bananas must be saying to himself, "Wait, you're going to give me a tent to sleep in regular warm, like regular weather, like
right? Like I don't
for
have
him,
to
I'm
stand
sure it's like
one-footed on a rock all night with the
yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like I think that he's like, this isn't actually that bad. My sleeping condition is okay.
That's what
for
I
once.
think the fun fake out was at the
Right.
place of light at the end of the maze. It was like, now what are we gonna have to do? Are we gonna have to like do handstands on these tents all night? Like I didn't
Yeah.
know what nobody knew. And I
See,
guess
that would have
like,
been. I actually, if they made him like have to take breaks and be like, you each have to stand on this platform. Only one of you has to be here, but you got to keep switching in and out. Like that'd be
I
fun.
didn't mind that this final wasn't very gimmicky in terms, well, except the biggest gimmick of all, a corn maze and a giant, stadium. But other than that, like it wasn't like, oh, thread. Remember when they had to like make, popcorn necklaces once? It's like, what? Just this is so stupid.
I
There was
remember
no one
something
to
along those
3D,
lines. Yes.
something so dumb, and they all decided like not to do it together because it was like if we all just stop doing it and go to sleep. And
I
TJ
do
was like,
not remember the creating of
I
necklaces.
remember Nicole, like peanut butter. Nicole.
Why do I remember Cara Maria being there for that?
I feel like Cara Maria was there. I feel like Ashley was there. I feel like Hunter. I don't remember, but it was one of those around those times. Like
Yeah, what was the point of doing the popcorn?
Was it the same one where they had to get dressed up in armor?
No, that was the night when they had to like some of the things. It's like, come on. At least all of these were like skill based, even though it wasn't that fun to watch. The helicopter throwy sand bomb thing was like a skill that if you figure out the timing, like there was some strategy. So it was like, who's going to figure this out? Tori and Devin figured it out. That's what these things all. I was like, these require some sort of skill that the challenge rewards. There's new twists on things. But as Devin said in that final four thing, you have to be able to do everything a little bit. Like you can't just be brawn. You can't just be
and I would argue that Devin is athletic. I think that he is self-deprecating in that way, that now everybody pokes at him like he's not the athletic one. He's fine. He can run. He's athletic. He's just not turbo Iron Man like Fessy, like these CrossFit addicts. Like he just does, he doesn't look as maybe chiseled, but he's totally athletic.
He's not as strong physically as like a Banana.
He's definitely not as strong. And if he had to go up into an elimination like a hall brawl, he's not going to win that against a Fessy. Like, I mean, but most people wouldn't, right? We can say that as well. So there's like there's the other side of that too.
Okay, you're right. I think probably I was being too forgiving at that moment, because now I'm thinking like if it was him doing balls in versus Bananas, he would have been punted to the moon.
That's the point. So like, but that's why them winning was so important. I mean, that's why I actually thought that this was like unlike the year Casey won, which was that last season or the season before? It's been so long.
I think, right?
Huh?
36, I think.
Well, then who won? Oh, yeah, because CT, when did CT and Amber give them the money? It was last season, right? They had the option to give them the money.
CT and Casey gave the money.
So that was last season.
Oh,
and then it was Amber and CT was agents, spies, lies, agents.
I don't know.
People crush us in the comment section, but you know what? Sorry, guys. We watch so much challenges.
I turned every loss. I need
to keep it together. All right. So anyways, the point is though.
I want to address, sorry. We love you all and appreciate even the negative comments, but when they were mad at us for not being prepared about who Rogan. It's like, we didn't know we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, so it's funny
on.
because that came up on a whim. Pam and I just started talking about how, remember when
Right,
Jay,
it's like this.
so
Like,
wait, don't
remember that
tell Jenna.
time?
Jenna we just told her, but whatever. Remember when Jay got like knocked out and got a concussion and he didn't know where the hell he was, and they had to like cancel his like elimination game against somebody? Who was he going against?
I feel like that's happening to me right now because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
No, I do know.
Who was he going against in that? Remember the guy knocked him out and he had to like leave, he was done, and then the other guy just got to win. Shit. That's the best part, Pam, right? Because we already
Stop.
So we said it was Fessy, thinking of just a big guy,
CT.
right?
I thought it was CT.
I thought it was Fessy. We thought it was just like a big guy, and it was a big guy, but we got it wrong. And someone like in the comments got all mad. It's like, dude, we didn't prep that. That was like on the whim.
Like, do your homework. It's like us not knowing who was in the bead stringing finale. Like, we didn't.
Like we just decided to talk about it for kicks. We weren't planning on talking about it. So have a little ease up, man.
Ease up, man.
Who was it?
It was Rogan, and I just said it. That's why I was like, and I just said it, and she still can't think of it. I just said someone yelled at us for not knowing it was Rogan.
I couldn't hear you over the sound of my brain throbbing as it was.
Anyway, we digress. And commenter, even if you're telling us we're unprepared, we do love your comments, especially of late, guys. Thanks.
But before we lose everybody, let's go back to the elimination, the final elimination tonight. So you guys, I see that you both didn't like the cinder block puzzle.
I did.
What?
I did.
Okay. Dan said he had a complaint that you talked about earlier.
My big complaint was the end zone BS in balls in, but my other complaint would be just that the final wasn't super close. Like, we knew that Devin and Tori were going to win. I'm like halfway through, and that Bananas and Nany didn't even try to finish it. So I wanted it to be like it coming down to they're pulling chains, and you're like, don't know. Yeah. They're flying through, and then boom, one hand goes at least a little closer. This was not even. So that's but I love the outcome, and I love the idea of the elimination. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but honestly, all those things that you said, like the balls in and the puzzle and not making it close, I still like those things because they were true, and it made it like so entertaining to think, oh my gosh, I want Tori. I was so happy Tori and Devin were gonna win. I was like, woohoo, like there's no way Nany and Bananas is coming back from this. But at the same time, my heart did break for them because you understand the feeling of just absolute defeat. They're looking at this puzzle, this cinder block apparatus that they built, and they're just looking at it like, what, we can't do anything. We are going to bury ourselves in these blocks before we can rebuild this.
Yeah, I mean, Bananas was like, my back is shot. I just thought everyone at this point became their most authentic self, which Bananas was like, this is what it's all about, showing Nany like the challenge, like, back in my day when we didn't have these lights up and electricity. He was explaining this is what it's all about. Nany found her competition thing, but then also Bananas and Nany get petty and mean-spirited when they're stressed, which I myself do as well, so I'm not trying to judge, but Tori and Devin, in terms of deserving, as much as anyone can deserve whatever, Tori obviously has come so close so many times, and I think really deserve this. And their teamwork led them here from start to finish. Lest we forget, they were the first people in elimination in this season, so they could have gone home night one, and they took it all home. And it's been a long time coming, so I was happy. And when Nany and Banana started bickering, I was like, if they did pull it out, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. Okay. So let me give you like 3 or 4 reasons why I did not feel bad for Nany and Bananas.
Okay, because I didn't really either at that point. I was like, you know what?
You brought it up. They're not true ride or dies as far as I'm concerned. Like, if they won, be like, okay, so you guys, so being a ride or die means yelling at each other and being mean to each other, but then you still somehow win. Like, that's not how I want my champion to be.
I know they do love each other. Not to say, I don't want to say that. I do think they're more ride or dies than
others were. No, I agree. But I still, like, Tori and Devin were like the definition of ride or dies, and they got to win it. Like, that's a storybook ending for what producers should have wanted. But here's the other big reasons. Casey just won the other season. So Nany's girl has plenty of money for her to go home to. We know Bananas is loaded. He's won 1 million damn times. So those are 2 huge reasons why Tori and Devin have never won this thing. So though, like, who cares? Like, they don't, Tori and Bananas and Nany, they don't need to win. They'll be, here's my last one. They still each got $38,000 because Tori and Devin are true ride or dies for everybody on the goddamn show, apparently. Now, I know that's before taxes and all, but I did the math if you want to hear all the math on that later. So, yeah.
Do you have
That-
the math on what they're taxed? Do you
I
know
have the math on what Tori and Devin are now going to take home after they gave away $228,000.
Right.
they're really good spirits and good people.
They
And Devin was
gave
like, and we hope that
away.
we're setting a trend to pay it forward.
I hope that
Bananas-
trend ends next season. I
Oh,
want to
no,
see
I
someone
love
be
that.
greedy
I
and
think
keep
that's
it.
so nice.
I
Because
mean,
when
I
you
would
go through
almost
all
be
that shit.
even more
It just goes to show you they're all just
But
goddamn friends now, and the old challenge is gone.
No,
Yeah.
wait, sorry, Jenna. I couldn't.
Yeah, go
hear
ahead,
you.
Jenna. Sorry.
I was just thinking like, oh, I would not want to give up the money. But so I feel like what I would do would always be more disrespectful. I give everybody like $1,000.
Listen,
And they'd be like, what?
that's your
Yeah,
gift certificate to Target.
So-
But I thought this, oh gosh, I've heard the cement block. Sorry. Like I said, I did not sleep last night.
Oh,
I thought the cement block puzzle was so difficult. Looking
yeah.
at it, and editing, it's a reality TV show. So the editing is what makes it engaging and entertaining. And I appreciate that. But it is one where I wish we could also watch like the uncut version, right? Like I wish that they could put something out on a streaming platform or something where they could just show us the camera running. Cause I wonder how long it took them, what the process was. Maybe I realized it would be boring to watch halfway through, but I'm interested in, because I feel like that would have been so hard to try and figure out like where the puzzle pieces fit.
Well, that's what Tori or Devin or someone said. One of those said, like, this is hard because not only are you moving these things and thinking about it, but you have to keep the structure, the strategy while you're laying out all the pieces. I still don't understand entirely what Bananas and Nani did wrong. They started
they built a platform below the diamond, and those needed to be put on the top to finish the diamond on the top. They built the diamond too high, so they couldn't finish the diamond on top. They ran out of cinder blocks with painted sides. They needed to build it they needed to be basically on the ground. They need to go across and have that point be on the lowest cinder block on the ground next to the sand. They built it one up. They had a layer of blank blocks below that needed to go above.
Got it.
And that was only one thing that they did wrong. So they took one side down and rebuilt it just to realize when they got to the ending of another portion of it that they didn't have the right block. Because as you realize that Devin pointed out, there's paint. Every cinder block that like faces the outside world, anybody looking at the puzzle has to have like a paint color on any side of it. So if you're a top block, that means the paint has to be on the top. If you're a side block, it's got to be on the side. And so they realized they needed something either on the side or the top, and they realized that they had buried that. They were missing a block, and it was buried somewhere, and they had no idea where it was.
See, I thought that was wrong, that they thought that and that wasn't even true. It's just that I don't know.
Well, they couldn't find, they clearly were looking on the ground for the other painted one. They, for some reason, thought that they couldn't find it there, Pam, in that case, if you think that you're right there. But I think that they was like in the middle somewhere, and they just like, there's a painted one in the middle that they put, because you had to stack up all the blank ones in the middle to kind of build, and then build your wall around that. Yeah, it came down to a puzzle, and Tori and Jordan dominated those, and Bananas himself admitted that he's not great with puzzles, and he's just, they needed to be, you have to be so extra organized in that situation, and they just were not.
Well, unfortunately, had they potentially taken a beat, Bananas should know. I wish that the two of them had taken a beat and been like, let's really think this through before we commit to putting it, you know what I mean? They just already started fighting. Of course, again, Jenna, you're right. It's the editing, whatever. They made it look like bicker, 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 lose, which was fine as a viewer. I was like, great, bicker, 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 lose, and then you get great Tori and Devin like, love you, love you, love you.
Well, they're definitely trying to paint a picture and show that like that this is what works on the challenge and this doesn't. But so when Bananas is running through that cornfield, by the way, with Nani, they show him like yelling at her, right?
Hurry,
but
hurry.
they reused his sound clip 3 damn times of him saying the exact same thing, exact same connotation. Like they just reused. It was all it's all they're called wild lines. They can put him in wherever they please.
Hurry up.
They're not showing the mouth movement. They showed the back of his head and him yelling. Like, was he really saying it at that moment, at that much?
I was getting mad at him.
the 101 times that we heard Jordan say, "Come get me, Anissa. Come get me, Anissa." But
we talked about it, yeah.
But he was saying it because you could hear his mouth. You could see.
No, we talked about how he was really saying, "Come get me, Amy."
He was really saying it, and it really pissed me off every time he said it. It was the douchiest thing. It annoyed me so much. Come get me, and he said, "Come get me." If I was him, I'd be like, "Nah, fuck it, I quit."
I didn't mind that. I got more mad at Bananas tonight because I'm like, you're only as fast as your partner. Like, there's no point in running ahead of her at that point, like in the maze in the dark. It's like, just relax.
I know, but Bananas, like, for all the crap I give him, he was 100% right. Where whoever gets to that end of that maze first it's very important. If Tori and Devin got there second, if Bananas beat, think about that. If Bananas beat Tori and Devin have to go in against Anissa and Jordan. They're losing that. I don't care how. Well, actually, no. Tori would have taken out Anissa. That would have been that'd been fun to watch.
Crazy.
I mean,
this is blowing my mind.
I would have loved it.
Would have just kept going.
I don't know. It's hard to say who would have won
universe, that probably happened.
I think Jordan is beating Devin.
The darkest timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Oh, so do you want to go over the money, how the money worked?
Yes.
Real quick. Okay, before we say goodbye.
We have to talk about Jordan and his words about Tori, and he's like,
we'll get into that next. Okay, so we'll do money. We got to talk Jordan and Tori because we're all still hoping they'll get together. They gave the $228,000 to 6 people. Okay, so $38,000 a piece. I did the math on that. The taxes that get taken out for that are like $7,000. So they're each getting $30K. Okay. That's not bad. They're each getting
7K. Because does this constitute as income?
I did it as income. It said, if you make $38,000 a year living in the region of California, you will be taxed $7,000. Actually, $7,001. So, so like that seems basically and that's probably getting taxed more in California. If you're a resident of another state, you probably get taxed less. Obviously. So that's my point, though. So,
I just wonder if it's income.
It is.
Well, it is considered income, of course.
Anything you game show winnings are your tax like income. Yeah.
Okay.
So that leaves $772,000 for Tori and Devin to split. So they each get $386,000 before taxes. I can do the math on that too if you want with the taxes, but yeah.
So a decent, let's round it to $350,000. Not bad
for 2 years.
Yeah, not bad.
No, that's not. I mean, of course, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's amazing. That's an amount of money I probably won't ever achieve. Having $350,000 in my bank account.
I'll never see that in my bank account.
I'm not gonna see it in my bank account. So that's amazing. And yeah, but I mean, it's just so hard to say. Like, I just
had no expenses ever. I could do that.
Right. Getting gas and lunch didn't cost $250 on a mundane Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, yeah, so much money. Just goes. Anyway, money gets spent.
I know.
So
I'm
fast.
Like, what? Well, anyway, okay. Let's get on to so it's funny, Jenna. Wait, I want to hear Jenna. You're like, no, not so much.
Yeah, Jenna, you're not feeling it.
I'm like no about it because he was dogging her all season. He was hooking up with Nerys. He was calling her a terrorist. They were fighting all season. Don't give me this shit now that you want to go hold her hand because she won. I love that he has to sit there and watch her win. I think that's awesome. You're on the sidelines. You're hating from outside the club. She's winning and walking away with the cash and getting the win on her tally. Yeah.
So
to your point,
I just thought it was annoying that it's like, this is Tori's win. And he's like kind of inserting himself like, the best part of my season is I now get to go congratulate Tori. It's just like, shut up. Like, you were hooking up with Nerys.
I don't mind that. I think, they met and they almost won together when he won. Their relationship is challenge based. I mean, like, they met on the challenge and Tori is, again, always comes so close. And I do think that they do love each other in a very deep love for each other, whether it's the time or not. And for him to see her win, I think was good for him. To your point, though, I did think it was a little, I don't know if it was intentional or what, but she was like, there's no one I would rather win with than Devin, which I just think was definitely, it's like, not you, Jordan, not you, Anissa, not anyone but Devin. Like, this is who I won with, and they do work well together. It was beautiful. I did get very sappy though, and think that that
I
he
wasn't
might
buying it.
love her and she might love him. But I think Jenna, she felt like you felt at the end when he was like lifting her up. She looked like whatever.
Yeah,
buddy,
she's
go
like, you
away.
know what? I realized I feel like she got her mojo back a little bit, her self-esteem
Yeah.
back. And she was, I don't know, maybe feeling like, no, I should be celebrating with my partner who I won this with, not somebody who I fought with all season.
Who called me a terrorist?
Who
But
called me?
I
They
do
were all
think that
they were all
inside,
celebrating with them
yes.
though, and I do think that
Yeah.
Jordan was super happy to see her win. But some people would look at that and say that he's just trying to save face.
Oh,
I can
no.
totally see. I can see both sides of that coin, and I do think that there's part of him that loves it. They still love each other. Like that's what he said. Like, oh, we still love each other. But I don't think they want to be together. Like, so like, do you really, if you don't love, if you love someone still, wouldn't you want to be with them? So is it real love? Like what kind of love do you have? See, having love for somebody or being in love with somebody, I think are two separate things, but I'll leave it at
Well,
that.
Dan, I feel like you and I had discussed this at some other point where like right now we had agreed that it was just too messy and too toxic and too raw, whatever, all the things, all the hurt that they have gone through. But again, when Jordan was like, who knows, 5 years, 10 years down the line, like I don't think they're supposed to be together now. But I do think that, I don't know, the romantic in me is thinking maybe one day they will come to a place
I
where
don't think so, guys.
I don't think so either for this reason.
I don't think so, guys.
There's when you have that controversy over being cheated on or cheating on somebody, I don't think you look at that person the same anymore. You don't that purity of the relationship, it's just not there.
And
Like,
I think this was the testing of a reconciliation, and it did not go well.
and we're about to
Seems
see
like
them on the
they
reunion.
got their
There was
toes
some
wet
fight.
again.
There's some
Yeah.
fight happening on the reunion with them, but I think it's kind of like one
think-
line. I don't think it's
yeah.
as big as they're making it out to be.
yeah.
I hate
I
to
like that Jenna, ding ding ding. I would just like to say Pam, hopeless romantic, Jenna, cynical, mean
Cynical.
Jenna, doesn't
You know what?
believe in
She
love.
threw a rock at your glass heart. She threw a rock
You
at that thing, Pam.
You might call it cynical. I call it realism. Okay? I'm just realistic. Look, I
Yeah.
have some roses over here, okay?
Oh,
I didn't buy them, so maybe I am cynical and I'm not romantic, but
let me show you what I have. And as I dig it out of the garbage.
these are
I'm not that
every lifetime
sentimental
is thorny.
either.
These are thorny.
Oh wow.
Cute. Cute Valentine's Day.
Love you, mean it. Love mom and dad.
From
my
the
mom and dad.
parents.
My
That's
parents
the
sent
best.
me
The
that.
best. That's the
All
best
right.
Valentine's
Luke
Day.
did get me the flowers that you see behind.
Oh good.
But yes, my parents sent me and Luke this one.
How
There
nice.
That's so sweet.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm sentimental for like a day, and then I'm like, cards go in the garbage. Bye. Your kids look cute from all the Christmas cards. I'm like, you get a day of being the featured on the refrigerator. Oh, hey, oh, cool. Garbage.
And then it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up the final episode 19. Oh my
Sorry,
goodness. Of the
Devin.
challenge, Ride or Dies.
I will say that the
end of the
reunion
ride.
teaser is doing what it always does, and it's making me invested. It's making me excited for the drama.
Well, I can't wait
because they slice everything together, and then it's people going at each other. I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I'm ready.
All I heard was the make new friends, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. They're gonna.
Yeah, no, that was ridiculous. Oof.
I didn't even. We'll see.
But it honestly says something bad. I don't know. It says something about us too, that we're so hooked on watching these really, really immature, offhanded fights that like 16-year-olds probably wouldn't even be having anymore these days. But I'm like, ooh, what'd she just say? She's wrong. What?
I would like to give a tease for next week because there is something special that I'm gonna do. And it pertains to one of the, since we watched it live, one of the MTV commercials. If anyone can guess this in the comments, you'll get a big hug, a virtual hug.
Free Patreon
in one of the commercials, he says, if someone says, if you're having a bad day, blank. And I was watching it and I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I did what he says to do. So I'll show what that was next week. But if someone can guess what it is, you get Jenna's rose. She's going to press it, dry it, and send it to you.
That was in a commercial, huh?
Uh-huh. For an MTV, it was like a promo.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is.
Jenna, then you get your own rose.
I already have it, but I won't ruin it for
Save
the
it for next week. We'll save it for next week. It will be revealed.
I mean,
so.
everyone's just gonna go on their DVR or whatever.
Yeah,
and
just watch
Are
it.
they? They might.
They're all gonna get a
even
digital
know
rose.
not.
If
Yeah.
you do, then I'll send you 3 bouquets of roses.
We'll rip the pet. She loves me not. She'll send
Yeah.
you virtual rose petals.
Don't
All
do
right,
that.
well,
Just
thank you
kidding.
all for joining
I'll put
us.
commercials.
Check out our Patreon if you want, and we'll see you next week for the reunion. I think it's just going to be you two ladies because I have something happening. This is just a little thing happening in my life. I might be a little busy next week. Yes. So yeah.
Yay.
Anyways, thank you
Going
all
to
for
the
the well wishes in the
chapel
comment
and
section from last week. So
Sam,
anyways,
this is our last show together where you are a single man.
that's true. That's true. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be just glowing. You're gonna see a glow happening on my face after.
I don't know,
I'm
ladies,
married.
try and get it. You got about 5 days to get in there.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Seduce you.
But good try, Pamela. All right, we'll see you all next week for the reunion, and have a great night. For Jenna, Pam, I'm Dan. Bye.